Our meeting to order at 6:05, Superintendent.
So tonight, for our pledge of allegiance, we'll have our Assistant Duke of Business, Ms. Ilyas, lead us. Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So let me go ahead and do the roll call. Dr. Fajardo present. Vice President Ms. Gonzalez. She will be here a bit late. Ms. Cordero.
Present.
Mr. Vargas.
Present.
Ms. Cruz. Present. Thank you. So approval of tonight's agenda. Before I do the motion, Superintendent, are there any changes?
There are no changes to tonight's agenda, Madam President. However, all of you should have received an updated worksheet for the unaudited actuals, which you should have in front of you. And those are posted to the website as well.
So at this time, can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Approved. Is that Ms. Correct? Yes, thank you. Second? I need a second. Second. By Ms. Cruz, thank you. Vote? Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Corvette?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
And Ms. Cruz, I heard you. Recognition, presentations, and special order of business. Okay, Ms. Circa, please.
So good evening, Board of Trustees and Lennox community. Tonight we begin our update celebrating the back to school nights that have already taken place. The first one was for the Lennox Middle School. Congratulations to LMS for having a wonderful turnout, not only for their teachers, but as well as for their parents. They did a great job reviewing classroom expectations and syllabi, and there was definitely a lot of excitement in the air with a lot of our sixth graders as well, coming onto a big campus as they leave their elementary years behind. This last week, we also celebrated the back to school night for the elementary schools. The next slide, please. Cabinet was able to go ahead and visit to all the different elementary schools. The rooms looked very welcoming. There was a lot of student work displayed all ready for the start of the school year, and it was very, very nice to see so many families and a lot of even visiting students that were ex-students come to the classrooms to visit their school teachers as well. This coming Thursday will be our preschool back to school night. So we're looking forward to seeing our very little ones shine with their families as well. Okay, and lastly, under my updates for today, I wanted to highlight the important work that we're doing to celebrate and to support goal number 3, which is engagement, by providing training to our district parent liaisons. They do so much important work with all of our families. One of the things that they'll be working on this year with Mrs. Blanco is to definitely to develop their communication strategies. So this year they are focusing on their Epstein's 6 types of parent involvements for the remainder of the school year. So today they talked about in collaborative groups some of their existing practices as well as some new ideas on how they can communicate to increase their parent engagement with parents. We know that some of our parent liaisons are a little more seasoned, some are new, and we want to make sure that we are sharing those best practices so that they can increase the parent engagement and that all of our parents feel very welcome on campus.
Thank you. So at this time, we're gonna move to item B, 2024-25 audited actual financial report presentation.
Actually, we're going to our personnel.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Maria's like, yes. Thank you. We move on to Personnel Department and Ms. Castellanos.
All right. Well, good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Tividian, and the Lennox community. For tonight's Personnel Department update, I want to start by acknowledging that staffing adjustments at the start of the year are never easy. These changes impact classrooms, staff, and families, and we deeply appreciate the flexibility of our site administrators, teachers, support staff, parents, and students throughout this process. At the same time, we do have a responsibility as a district to remain fiscally responsible and to align our staffing with actual enrollment while maintaining our MOU guidelines. Tonight, I'd like to share a few updates on where we've had to make some adjustments with our staff. So at Lennox Middle School, enrollment came in lower than expected. As a result, we are reducing by 2 teachers. One was a resignation, PE resignation, and the other is a temporary teacher whose release resolution is being presented in closed session tonight. At the elementary level, our K1 span was above the MOU average, which is actually a good thing because it means that in this particular grade span, we did see an increase in more students than we anticipated, so that's actually a good thing. However, our 4-5 grade level span came in significantly lower than projected. So to address this, we created a 4-5 combo at Huerta, and a Huerta teacher was transferred to Jefferson as a K1 teacher. These adjustments helped us balance the class sizes while staying within our MOU guidelines. And Ms. Ilyas, in her portion of the presentation, will go into more detail about our district's MOU. So regarding intervention teachers, we're recommending the approval of 2 intervention teacher positions tonight. Based on our MOU guidelines, the district will not hire additional FTEs to backfill those positions, but rather we will reorganize classrooms accordingly. Lastly, we are still faced with challenges in the special education world and teacher vacancies. Their whole state is struggling with this. So we are working closely with the interim director, Diana Grant, and hopefully if approved, a new director of special education to ensure that all classrooms have coverage and that our students receive the support they need. Overall, these decisions are challenging but necessary to balance our commitment to students, our obligations under the MOU, and our responsibility to the district's fiscal health. I again want to thank our staff, our families, and students for their cooperation, their flexibility, and understanding as we make these adjustments together.
Ms. Castellanos, we're gonna move on to our business department, to Ms. Ilyas.
Good evening, Lennox Board, Superintendent Davidian, and the Lennox community. So when we're talking about enrollment, so we want to provide everyone with an update of what's happening. So back in May and June, we have to figure out and build staffing and class sizes based on the students that are coming in and who currently exist. While total district enrollment came in as projected, the composition is where things started to shift. So if you look at the area that says averages and available spots, we actually saw the growth in our K1 grades, but then as we looked at our upper grades, so our grades 4 and 5 and the middle school, we saw a decline there. So if you look at the grade level cap, that's where our MOU dictates how many students district-wide should be at each grade level. So if you could see at our K1, we were basically over the cap by 9 students.
That's why it's in red, correct?
Yes. And then so when we saw that, so go to the next slide, Martin. In being fiscally responsible, we decided to look at where can we make an allocation of resources. So what we did was we decided to shift a teacher from grades 4 to 5 because that's where we were under enrolled to the K1 level, because that's where the staffing was needed. And then we didn't fill the vacant positions at LMS because their enrollment came in lower than projected. So we were shifting resources to where it was needed. So before the shift, grades 4 and 5 was actually under enrolled because there was 102 spaces available. So by doing that, it allowed us to right size based on the enrollment, and this is actually, this shifting is not unique to the district. This is a common practice in most schools. And then our next update is on nutrition services. So we've been, the nutrition services team has been aligning our nutrition standards with our wellness policy by having all the school sites promote and have healthy snacks. And Francisco's been working with all the principals to provide them with a list of what are healthy alternatives to what has been given out, and this is correlating with our CDE audit of the food services program that's coming up. And that's all.
And next up is instructional services, Mrs. Wamba.
Thank you, Superintendent Davidian, and good evening, Board of Education and the Lennox communities. So it's a brand new year, and we have a brand new attendance campaign that we are launching this month because September is Attendance Awareness Month. So in alignment with our cooking theme for the year, our slogan is Daily Attendance, the secret sauce for success. So the S in sauce is for showing up every day, the A for always being ready to learn, U, unlocking opportunities, C, commitment counts, and E, excellence every time. So for the month of August, I'm happy to report that the majority of our schools came in above 90, and kudos to Buford Elementary School for coming in at 95.8 of attendance rate for the month, for the first about 3 weeks of school from August to the end of beginning of September. And then a shout out to LMS, who was not far behind for the first month of school. Okay, on Saturday, August 23rd, LMS students and staff were able to participate in a huge shoe giveaway thanks to the Al Barrio Foundation that provided hundreds of brand new Nike Panda shoes for students and staff. So you can see the Panda shoe down there. It's the black and white. It's a very popular shoe for kids. So hundreds of our students and staff were able to receive that. So thank you to Al Barrio's Foundation. And then through our Community Schools Initiative, this month we have 2 farmers markets planned for September 11th and Thursday, September 18th. As well as everyone gets to wear their Panda shoes at LMS on, that was actually earlier this week on the 8th. And just a reminder, our community school center is open for any family that needs any resources. And then also in the area of our community events, September is Suicide Prevention Month. So this month, Miss Emily Cummings-Polk, our social emotional coordinator, will be going to all of our school sites, and all of our teachers will be receiving training to recognize the risk of suicide in hopes of preventing any suicides from happening in our community. So a big thank you to Emily for training all of our teachers. In addition to that, LMS will also be launching their campaign where every classroom gets a presentation as well. And then finally, we have many parent engagement opportunities starting up this month. So first, we have partnered with LMU for the Center for Equity for English Learners, and they will be providing our parents with training in the area of reading, ways to increase comprehension, develop vocabulary, develop skills and concepts in science and social studies. So we're looking forward to those parent trainings coming up throughout the fall from October to December. Backed by popular demand is Dr. Grover Bravo. This is our parents' absolute favorite workshops. This is all about social and emotional and really strengthening the family values. So Dr. Grover will start with these workshops at LMS in October. We also have provided by our Instructional Services TOSA, a workshop for parents on state exams on getting ready for LPAC and SBAC testing, and that'll be on October 1st. We continue to partner with our local colleges, Southwest and LACC, Los Angeles Community College, And they come on our campus to provide ESL classes to our parents. So we have those happening at our school sites. We need our parents to participate though, because they will close the classes if we don't have at least 20 in each class. And then finally, there'll be a school site council training for our school site council members on October 9th.
So that concludes our cabinet update. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our presentation of our 24-25 unaudited actuals, and for that, we're gonna have Ms. Ilias.
Evening. So I will be presenting our unaudited actuals. So why am I presenting the unaudited actuals? So per ed code, we are required to give each, an annual statement of our receipts and expenditures of the district for the last fiscal year. So what it basically says is we have to present to the board where we ended up this fiscal year. So the unaudited actuals represent our cumulative activity for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. It's still subjected to our annual audit, which means the auditors can still go in and tell us where we need to make corrections in our financials. We are required to file this report to LACO by September 15th, and then in turn, LACO files the report with the state by October 15th. So it gives them a month to review what is in the report. So our unaudited actuals includes all of our revenue, expenditures, and ending fund balances for all our funds, and how that impacts our adopted budget is that we reflect the new beginning balances for the 25-26 fiscal year. So unaudited actuals just basically tells us where did we end up after the year was said and done. Next. So this is a summary of our general fund revenues. So you can see in the unrestricted and the restricted side. So on the unrestricted side, we brought in 55.4 million. On the restricted side, we brought in 46.9 million for a total of 102.4 million in both unrestricted and restricted. So next is our summary breakdown of our general fund expenditures, also both broken out by restricted and unrestricted. On the restricted side, we spent 51.1 million, and then on the unrestricted side, we spent 47.2 million for a total of 98.3 million. So what does that all mean? So when we initially brought our adopted budget back in June, we also brought our estimated actuals because that was for us saying, where did we think we were gonna end up come this time? And then as we close the books, that's where the unaudited actuals comes in. So this process is showing where did we end up after everything was said and done. So back in June, we thought we were going to bring in 53 million in unrestricted revenue and 44 million in restricted revenue. And then in our expenditures, we thought we were gonna spend 53.1 in unrestricted and 47 million in the restricted. So we thought our ending balance was gonna be a negative 149,000 on the unrestricted side and a negative 2.3 million on the restricted side. Come this point in time, after we've gone through the process of reviewing everything and closing our books, we see that our unrestricted revenue ends up being at 55.4 million, and our restricted revenue ends up being at 46.9 million. So the differences you can see on the column there, we see a shift of a positive 2.4 million unrestricted and 2.2 million in the restricted. And then on the expenditure side, we see that we came in at 51.1 million on the unrestricted side and 47.2 million on the restricted side. So our ending balance ends up being 4.3 to the positive, 4.3 million to the positive on the unrestricted side and a negative 273,000 on the restricted side. So we do see a shift of 4.5 million in the unrestricted and 2 million on the restricted. So next slide. So where did those differences take place, right? So in the LCFF, you see a decline of 244,000, which is due to a decrease in our P288, but a lot of our increases came in the local revenue section. Now, the local revenue section is always the trickiest to budget for because you never really know where these items are gonna end up. So like, for instance, interest, we don't know where interest is gonna end up because that's dictated by what the county treasury tells us to budget for. So we actually saw a $600,000 increase from our interest income. We also saw a $1 million fair market value adjustment. So what that means is our cash in county is invested in the county treasury, and we have to book what that investment is worth at that given time. So when the county came out with their fair market value adjustment, for us that ended up being $1 million. And then we got 200,000 from our Medi-Cal billing, and then we saw $700,000 increase in like rebates, incentives, and facilities use. And then on the expenditure side, some of the differences came from a reclassification in funds from the unrestricted side to the restricted side. We also saw a decrease in our contracted services. So with that category, it's also a little tricky sometimes because for areas such as like special ed, where the staffing and the services need fluctuate, we have to budget for what we think might be needed, but if those services aren't being used, then that PO, basically, that encumbrance falls to the ending balance. And then we've also charged indirect costs for programs such as ELOP, or Learning Recovery Block Grant, and other resources, which wasn't previously done in the past. So what makes up our ending balance? So we started the year with, on the unrestricted side, we started the year with $36.6 million. After everything that was said and done, we ended up with a $41 million ending balance. But then when we take into consideration our reserve for economic uncertainties, which is the 3% reserve we're required to have by law, plus our revolving cash and inventory and the board commitment of $16 million, we end up with a $21.9 million ending balance. And then we have our multi-year projection, so you can see where we ended up. So we end up with a positive balance of 4.3 million, but we are still projected to deficit spend in the out years. And I want to point out that if you see on the revenue side, you can see we're declining in our LCFF revenue, which is tied to student enrollment. So that's declining, and then also with the local revenue portion, that's a little tricky to budget for because we don't know where that's going to end up. It's, you know, the county says, okay, you budget this much, but then we end up either higher or lower. So it's sort of unpredictable in that way. And then also our one-time monies are sunsetting. So there's, you know, we still have some of the obligations, but we don't have those restricted funds to make up those costs. So that's why we still show that we're deficit spending in the future. And then these are a summary of our other funds. So we have, our preschool fund, our cafeteria fund, and then some of the funds that we're required to pay by the county. And then finally, okay, so where do, now that we have our unaudited actuals, where do we go from here? So as I mentioned, we have the decline in enrollment and the one-time money going away. Now that we have a complete fiscal team, we're also, better equipped to monitor our expenditures, especially our encumbrances. We're also collaborating with other departments such as instructional services to see where, also track their revenue and expenditures. We're also collaborating with personnel to establish a tighter position control. We're also going through the ICMAP study so they can help us assess the, where can we be more a little bit better with our special ed program, and then we're also going through the school consolidation process. Our auditors are gonna be here at October to come take a look at our books, and then we'll also be presenting first interim to make, just to make any adjustments to what we know at that time.
This is in October?
The first interim is in December.
No, but the
Auditors, yeah, they'll be here October, so it's usually the time they come. That's it. Any questions or comments?
And I do wanna highlight that this report was done by our team, not AFA, so kudos to our team.
We did take what we learned from them, so we were able to, apply what they taught us.
I wanna, just kind of piggyback, this is very thorough and very well thought of in your explanation and in a way that it could be understood, I believe, for most of us. And one of my concerns was the contracted services, that steep increase. And thank you for explaining, it was the special ed component that's really kind of taking us a dip there. In regards to our budget, funding there, so, yeah. I think once they come and they do look into our books and once we get the first interim, to see what contracts, that are on an ongoing basis, if anything could be, if we're not using all the funds, you kind of budget to a certain amount, it's just not being
Yeah, and that's where the monitoring comes in,
Yes.
where we can take a look at what those encumbrances are and then make adjustments along the way.
And then finally, in regards to the ones that were unrestricted and went into restricted funds, how much of an impact, you kind of stated it, the 558K shift?
Yeah,
So
so that was a
can you just-
booking, it was just an accounting of the CSAP.
Because it's tied to the salary, no?
It is, but it's the money that, so before the accounting for the summer saver program was done, it was either done as an audit adjustment or to be general fund, where it really should have been under restricted, because then that's where we can recognize the match the state gives us.
So it's just kind of some discrepancy, it's not going to affect the salaries or the
No,
staff? Okay,
no, it's where we're categorizing that.
Okay. so it's just like a discrepancy, kind of clarification of items, okay. Thank you.
Well, and I think in that presentation, I'm gonna do highlight that there's a conversation with expenses in HR. There's also gonna be a conversation of, spending control with business and instructional services. So I think those systems of control, from position control to other, I think they're good. Cause that keeps us, the focus on what is it that the funding is going to and towards what, and then you have, validation so that things are not mischarged or, incorrectly charged in the wrong place, and then which then can lead to accounting errors, so.
It's also maximizing the use of our like categorical funds too, so we've been meeting
Yeah.
with like Mr. Cronfield and Ms. Blanco, just to make sure that we're capturing every expense where it belongs.
Yeah, and that is important, because when you do not have that system of control, it can lead to errors, which is, I think, it's correcting it and moving forward, so thank you.
I just wanted to say that, for the estimated actuals versus the audited actuals, I think we did or this district did a pretty good job on the expenses side. I think the estimate was like 53.1 for the unrestricted, and we came in at 51.1. So we spent less than, what we thought, which is good. And then for the restricted, we were at 47 million, and we came in at 47.2. So I think we did a really good job. I think if we're able to plan what we're gonna spend and we come through on it, I think that's always good. So, yeah, very good.
And I do want to commend Cabinet, because our conversations, and we always laugh about how we rumble, but we really do. Because everybody comes in with their lens, and it's sort of like, Becky wants to protect her programs. Arlita wants to protect the budget. Maria wants to protect making sure position control. But it's good, because I want them all at the end. At the end of the day, we want to protect the success and obviously the solvency of the district. And we want to make sure that it's the best program, but making sure that we're all in alignment. And like I said, we all have our eye on that prize, making sure that we're doing that in alignment with solvency. And I think that's the key piece, that we all have that alignment, within ourselves.
Any other comments?
Sí, yo quiero comentar algo. Me gusta el trabajo que hizo y cómo lo presentó. Y me gusta ver que pudimos ahorrar dinero sin bajar la calidad en los servicios que damos a nuestros estudiantes. Entonces, viendo estos resultados, creo que podemos hacer planes a futuro y para seguir mejorando, ¿no? Vemos que sí podemos, que sí nos alcanzó y que bien que pudimos ahorrar. Fue un gran trabajo, yo sé que el equipo lo hizo muy bien y pues muchas felicidades a todos por seguir en esta línea, ¿verdad? Me gusta lo que están presentando. Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
I do see I like the presentation. I understand all the numbers, so I think it's great. My only thing was, I know we were focusing on we didn't have that many expenditures and we have a surplus, and I think that's more of a moving numbers around from categories. So I don't think it's really, we should take it like a win. I think we still need to keep an eye on things and expenditures and just make sure we're spending where we need to. But I do like the fact that we did come at a budget surplus. So thank you.
All right, moving on. Superintendent's Advisory Committee.
So we held our last Superintendent's Advisory Council on September the 2nd. This was our 7th meeting as a council, and it was a very important one, as our members did move forward to make a recommendation to the superintendent via a ballot vote. Up until now, we've been discussing and looking at data, looking at recommendations, and talking about the pros and the cons. As we look at the road ahead, there's obviously still a lot of work to do, as we do have a timeline to guide the work that we have come November, so that not only can we provide the board with a special board session, and in December with all of the necessary information that they will need to fully be informed and ready to make their next decision. Our next meeting will be September the 30th. And at this time, I'll be meeting with our council to talk to them about their recommendation, because now that they've made their recommendation to the superintendent, my job will be now to come back to them and say, okay, what am I gonna do with that recommendation? Will that recommendation remain the same when I come to the board for that special board meeting, or will it change? And I also wanna get their feedback as we start those town hall meetings in terms of what is those key pieces that our community needs to hear, because we want to be transparent. We also want to be able to speak to them in a way that's going to be, like I said, that it's going to tell the story. We don't want to go up there with a bunch of educational jargon. We want to tell the story of how did we get here? Why are we having this discussion? Because many of them might say, like, I see students in our school. Why are we having the discussion of possibly closing the school? What is decline in enrollment? What does it mean? And really telling the true story of why we're here and why we're so committed that the choices that we make today will be to secure the future of our students. So we're going to be moving forward, and like I said, keeping with our timeline. And the goal is to have our town hall meetings, have a board workshop where we can really break down and explain to the board and give them all the information that they need so that they are fully equipped to make their board decision, hopefully in December. And like I said, and with that piece, we do have a couple more meetings scheduled ahead. I think this is the next slide. So like I said, our next meeting will be on September the 30th, and then we have other meetings coming up to December. And we have our members there as well. And like I said, I mean, it is, and we see that from the members of our committee. It is an emotional time, especially for those that, that attend or that work, at Felton or at Buford. Nobody ever wants to hear the conversation of their school possibly closing. But the data, the enrollment data, the financial data, all points to, this is the decision that the council feels is going to be what's going to help us address declining enrollment as we move forward. So, like I said, I will keep the board updated in terms of those next steps, as well as our community in terms of when we can expect those town halls to be. We want to do one in the daytime here in the boardroom, and then one in the evening at LMS, so that we can make sure that we have as many parents as possible attend those meetings. And then the last piece, we don't have anybody here from the community, but I did want to inform our board and community that a Lennox and a community treasurer will be retiring next month after a lifetime of service. After 40 years, Mrs. Mary Agnes Ernestson will be retiring. And I know she has devoted her life to serving not only in Lennox, but a lot of our families here, through our St. Margaret Center, helping with the unhoused, with women's shelters, with helping our families with citizenship, learning English. So, like I said, if you have an opportunity to send her a thank you or an email, I'm sure she'd appreciate that. But at our last Lennox Coordinating Council, Sergio Paz got very emotional, just thinking back to all the years that they worked together. And obviously, I've only known her for 3.5 years, but I've seen the work that she does with the big, the Santa, the winter giveaway, and just all the work that she does with shelters and helping, families. It really is, what a legacy she's left behind. So I just wanted to make sure that our board is aware that she is retiring next month.
I really appreciate Mary Agnes. St. Margaret Center was very key during the pandemic with resources and whatnot. That propelled many of us to kind of, share that love around in the community. So it's, she's quite a champ for Lennox. So good for her. Se lo merece.
I always call her Sister Mary, just because I see St. Margaret Center, and I say, I'm sorry, I was thinking of you like a sister. What a Sister Mary.
Everybody makes her Thank you. So, D, we covered D.
Yes.
So reports, Lennox Teachers Association.
Good evening, everyone. Just the Lennox Teachers Association. I see a lot of familiar faces here. I just want to introduce myself. First of all, I didn't know the order initially, but I don't want to steal your thunder, but I want to congratulate Susana Martin, who was just an LTA member just a few weeks ago. there are people at the district level who are one part of our group, and it's always hopeful that they remain connected and they realize the perspective of our members as well. And so congratulations and get your flowers to everyone else. And I'm also, I was glad to hear everyone open up the conversation about the changes that recently happened with, as a result of the enrollment numbers not hitting our mark. And also pleased to hear that in the business office, we're experiencing some stability on our own, right? We're with our own folks and our own team. So that is my topic today. So I'm glad that you opened up the conversation. But it's on the agenda, it says LTA report, so I'll treat it as a report. And I wanted to report on the tough few weeks and the tough start we had to the year and we're experiencing from having to make changes during the school year as a result of not hitting our enrollment numbers. And it's been a rough start. So, and again, like I said, while these are tied to fiscal goals and stability, I wanted to move the spotlight back onto the impact it's having on the stability of our educational programs and our educational community and the families and the staff and the students. I'm sure we've heard from all of them. I've heard parents have their opinion and the teachers and all that. So I just wanted to move the spotlight back to it on that and share again kind of the same things that Maria and Castellanos and Ms. Ilias mentioned, and I'll highlight them again. But again, to highlight the idea that the impact has been exacerbated by the fact that it happened during the school year. So I do also have a suggestion on how we can mitigate that in the future, and since we're not out of the woods yet with that kind of role. So just to repeat, we did lose some teachers, which is or a teacher, and that was a tough thing for that person to endure, and especially in the middle of the year when like, what do you do next? Losing a job in your family is a crisis. So I mean that's just. Again, I just wanted to, the middle of the year thing is what's really been hard. The collapsing of classes, maximizing our class sizes wherever we can, all that stuff is happening as the year already started. Changing schedules, curriculum, assignments, creation of combination classes during the school year. All that stuff, I mean, like I said, when it's happening, the timing of it, and I understand it's putting us in a better position fiscally, but it's been very, very, very difficult. And in the meantime, I wanted to emphasize our primary concern in all of this. First of all, is the student stability. The impact these mid-year changes have on student learning. And thank you, Ms. Gonzalez, for mentioning that as well. And when a child loses their teacher in the middle of the year, we know it can set them back academically and emotionally. Creating new combination classes, which are never ideal. It's common practice, but it's never ideal. It just introduces a level of disruption that's felt most deeply by our most vulnerable students. Secondly, the professional challenge that teachers and staff and everyone that works with students experience directly. A teacher, for example, who's suddenly reassigned, given the multiple grade curriculum to create overnight, or handed several more students, is being asked to do the impossible. Our educators are dedicated and they're going to do their best. We have no other choice, right? But we're setting them up for burnout and we're setting our students up for a lesser experience. And this isn't about their comfort, and it's about their ability to be effective for our students. And again, after all this, yes, fiscal responsibility is key. And after all my speech and all this, the question will still remain, and I understand. And we need to adjust to this new reality. Numbers are declining and we're facing school closures. We have to adjust the reality to the new reality. How do we do it? How can we make these necessary changes in a way that causes the least amount of harm to our students, who should be the central focus, who are counting on us for a stable and effective education? So again, these things already happened. There's no going back on these, and we've had to make those adjustments, and we're living with it, we're moving on. But then there's still a decision coming. We're still not out of the woods with declining enrollment. School closure was mentioned, so we may be back in this predicament all over again and the year after that. So today, my suggestion is just that we also, for the future, think about the two priorities that I mentioned, which is student stability and the professional challenge faced by teachers and staff. And the suggestion I have today, I guess, is so that we avoid having to do things mid-year, which is not always possible, is to be collaboratively proactive. Right? Can we anticipate some of these so that we don't have to make changes? And can we be collaborative? Can we get the input of everyone that's going to be affected? I think together with the input of others, we can try to seek less disruptive solutions and find ways to mitigate the impact, especially if we do it before. So how can we be proactive? Maybe a committee of teachers or educational partners that can give input on what can we do if we need to face this issue. Can we use natural attrition, for example? Can we voluntary transfer? I'm just giving ideas of how we can be proactive. Do the changes that are suggested, are they allowing us to uphold best practices in our profession? I have a hard time believing that when it comes to like combo classes and things like that. But those are questions that I think we should consider. Can we provide targeted support for the teachers or the staff members who are facing those? For example, additional prep time, which we do have some things in our contract, but like just never seems to be enough. It's an impossible task. Professional help, for all these situations. Can we delay some of these changes, maybe for another natural break, maybe in the middle of the year, when there's a break, so that the transition could be, it's not something where you're ending a trimester and starting a new one with you. They're just ideas. Creative solutions, but we believe that working together we can meet physical responsibilities without sacrificing the stability and the quality of our students' education. So we need to be proactive. Let us be partners in navigating through these challenges that we have ahead, manage the transition with care and thoughtfulness of our students and the staff deserves, and let's get to work on long-term solutions to bring back families. Thank you.
Next we have CSEA.
Hello, everyone. Evening, board members, Superintendent Vivian, Cabinet and Community. My name is Nancy Valle and I'm CSEA President. First, I want to start by apologizing for not attending the previous board meetings. I do truly enjoy being here, for our classified employees, but I'm very glad to be here today. I'd like to start by sharing some exciting news. We have just completed the reclassification study for our classified employees, and we are now sending everything through our 610 process. Once those are approved by CSEA, our next step will be to hold a chapter meeting where members will be able to review the study and vote on the proposed job classification. This has truly been a long journey, over 3 years of hard work. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank Maria Castellanos, who has been with us since the start, Ms. Arliga Islas, and Eva Munoz, who joined us through the process, and of course our CSEA Chapter Executive Board, Betsy, Natalie, Annette, and our LRR, Levi. Their dedication, persistence, and teamwork made this possible. It was also a real pleasure working alongside with the district team. We felt heard, we felt respected, and most importantly, we felt treated as co-workers. I want to especially thank our superintendent, Ms. Davidian, for starting us on this much needed journey. Some of our job descriptions were very outdated. To give you an example, the maintenance position description still included repairing VCRs. I think we can all agree it's been quite a while since we rewinded those tapes. I think, updating these descriptions will make them more relevant and hopefully more attractive for future applicants. Now, I also want to acknowledge something that is on many people's mind. There's certainly with the study being done about possibly closing the school, which that's going to happen. I do receive many calls from worried employees, and I remind them that yes, if a school were to be closed, it would be our classified employees who would feel the impact the most. There are even rumors circulating that the school to be closed, it's felt it has to be felt, which is personal to me because I worked there for 18 years. But I always tell our members the same thing. Be patient, don't listen to rumors, wait for the study to be completed before jumping to conclusions. I know it is easier said than done, but worrying about something that isn't decided yet only causes more stress. I also want to reassure everyone here tonight that the district has kept me and our LRR informed every step of the way, and as of right now, nothing is set. I'd like to close by saying how proud I am to serve our classified employees who are truly the backbone of this district. We are the bus drivers who get students to school safely, the clerks and secretaries who keep the schools running, instructional aides to support learning, the custodians and maintenance staff who provide safe and a welcoming space, our nutrition staff who feed our kids, and so much more. Together we serve our students with pride, and no matter what changes come, I know we will continue to do so with dedication, heart, and resilience. Thank you for your time.
So superintendent's report?
I just wanna welcome back Mr. Estrada, who had been gone for a little bit, getting better, so we're glad to have him back over at Jefferson, and thank Mrs. Mendoza, who had served in for interim principal as well. I also, once again, commend our cabinet as well as our administrators. I know a lot has been said tonight regarding the flexibility and reorganizing of classrooms. We know that it's not an easy feat to ask, students, staff, parents to shift, especially, now that the school year has begun and right before or right after back to school night. But I think, many times as cabinet, we do have to take a look at every opportunity, every possibility on how we can address our current deficit spending, because we have to look at things in a macro-centric way. Like I said, we know it's not an easy choice, but we hope and we have to have that, that confidence that moving forward, all the decisions that we're making, it's gonna be for the long haul and for our students to have many, many years to come to be able to be educated in our district.
So at this time, we're gonna go ahead and move to public comments. This is a time during the agenda when the Board of Education is prepared to receive comments from the members of the public on any item appearing on the open session portion of the agenda. In order to address the board, please complete a request to address the board for indicating which item you will be discussing. It will be completed and sent to the dais. No request to address the board will be taken after 15 minutes after the meeting started. Time allowed for speakers is 3 minutes. When recognized by the president of the board, please step up to the podium, give your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. The board limits the total time for public comments on any topic for 30 minutes. So our first speaker is Mr. Sergio Hernandez.
Buenas noches, mesa directiva y señora presidente, doctora Fajardo. Hoy vengo como padre de Felton. Sé que hicieron la presentación sobre el comité de la superintendente y yo solamente vengo para hablar sobre el proceso que ha sido como explicó y espero que vamos a tener el próximo la junta y vamos a poder hablar sobre la junta de comunitario y muchas gracias también CSCA y LTA que también hablaron sobre ese proceso, pero ojalá y haya más padres, porque creo que hablando con los padres de Felton, no muchos saben de eso y sí hay rumores. Y yo también les aclaré lo mismo, que es un proceso que va a haber y la próxima junta va a ser el 30 de septiembre. Y además de eso, hubo unos padres también que vinieron del otro lado de nuestros vecinos, que también cerraron la escuela de donde estaban los hijos y ahora vinieron acá y cuando vieron dicen, oh no, ojalá no pase otra vez. Pero sé que estamos en esa situación. Hoy dieron luz a nuevos números de enrollment. Ojalá la superintendente va a traer esa información al comité y para poder hablar de eso, porque creo que es importante. Y en el proceso de eso también avisarle a a todos con tiempo del comité, porque, hubo parte donde miré alrededor del comité y muchos de los padres que representaban cada sitio, no todos estaban ahí. Entonces es algo que deben estar ahí y explicar la importancia de eso. Y además muchos de los empleados que no estaban ahí eran de classified también para hacer el voto del comité y todo. Entonces son los más afectados, los padres, las familias y los clasificados. Entonces creo que eso debe de ser importante para la Junta y por lo que dura la duración hasta diciembre, porque es algo que es impactante. Y lo positivo fueron los números de K1 que se dieron en todos los sitios. Remember, we're an elementary school district. I know that includes 6th, 7th, and 8th, but our primary is K5. Thank you.
Okay. Next speaker, we have Ms. Rachel Romero.
Good evening, President Dr. Harbaugh, Superintendent Davidian, board members, cabinet, directors of the community. Thank you, Superintendent Davidian, for mentioning about Mary Agnes. I'm here to talk about South St. Martin Center too. It has been a part of the Lennox community, has made a significant positive impact on so many lives over the 38 years that Mary Agnes has been a part of it and when it was first established. Who has been a key part of this impact has been Mary Agnes. And I too, when I first met her through the wonderful, amazing Pam Rector, who called her Sister Mary Agnes, so I got corrected. She was one of the founding members of the center and the director for close to 40 years. And recently, she gave a fascinating, great interview that explained her inspiring and amazing journey that brought her here to Lennox via LMU. So I encourage all of you to read it because it reveals what truly a special and remarkable woman she is. But yes, it has come time when Mary Agnes has decided to pass along the reins, and that's when us carry on the wonderful and courageous work at St. Margaret's Center. So Mary Agnes' anticipated last day will be October 25th. So I'm hopeful that you will all have a moment to send her a message of appreciation. There is one where you can send a video message to her, which she's not aware of yet. And appreciation for what she's done to support this community, these schools, and our families. So Mary Agnes may be leaving, but she will continue to make a difference by requesting donation to her legacy campaign. So I encourage you all to take a look at just a donate what you can there. But the next steps are to walk the Camino de Santiago in Spain, which is 500-mile walking. That many say is challenging, spiritual, and life-changing. So let us celebrate one amazing woman named Mary Agnes, who decided to come to Lennox 38 years ago because she felt she could make a positive impact on our family's community. So thank you. And since I have 50 seconds, Garfield High School has celebrated their centennial this year. A school that had made so many historical changes in the Latino culture community and has created so many great leaders. I know you're an alumni and wish you great success in Garfield Roosevelt game, which is scheduled for next month. So will the Bulldogs or Riders win in the game? I don't know, but wishing Garfield Bulldogs a great game. Bulldogs.
So proud to be a bulldog. So public schools always will. Thank you. Okay. All right, at this time, we're gonna go ahead and take a recess at 7:03. 5 minutes or 10? 7:08. Okay, seguimos. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and move to adopt and sign minutes. So regular board meeting from August 12, 2025. I need a motion. Señora Gonzalez, thank you. I need a second. Second by Ms. Cordero, discussion. Vote. Dr. Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez? Sí. Ms. Cordero? Yes. Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Okay. 5-0, and let the record show that Ms. Gonzalez arrived at 6:19 p.m. So thank you for being here. Okay, new business, superintendent's office, first reading of the following administrative board regulations. So it is from A to AI, okay? Then I move on to adopt the following.
Question,
Okay, Ms. Cruz, first
before
reading.
first a clarifying question, so we do the first reading, second reading, and then adopt, or do we go all the way to third? So we adopt at the second reading?
Yes.
So in regards to, with the first reading of policy A, or policy 0441, artificial intelligence?
Correct.
So, it's just a board policy, I didn't see like the, whatchamacallit, the admin regulations to operationalize the policy? Is that coming up, or?
For right now, this is all that Gamut has provided us with the guidance, because as things are being developed, Gamut is obviously sharing that with the different LEAs. So
I'm sorry, Gamut?
Gamut, which is basically our board provider, our board policy
CSBA.
provider.
Oh,
CSBA. Yeah, CSBA.
CSBA will provide us with the recommendations, and both, Mr. Gomez and, Mr. Knuckles both took a look at that to see how we could, making sure that it's in alignment with what we're doing as a district. So right now, all they've been able to provide is the board policy. As we develop more and as the state obviously learns more too, then we'll obviously develop the AR for it.
So that's not in the, it's not existent right now?
It's not existent right now.
Will that be, because, I mean, in order for this policy to be implemented, it needs some kind of operationalization.
No, there's several VPs that don't have ARs.
Well, in regards to AI and the importance of, like, trying to be a competitive force, especially in declining times, it wouldn't hurt to have that readily available for us to help us implement this policy in these trying times. And I would also like to suggest, like, even having a committee, like creating the guardrails, because it's ongoing.
So I think it's an inquiry, Ms. Cruz, of asking Gamut, right?
Yeah,
When would, so this already happened, cause I'm sure in the works, they have regulations
Yeah.
in the works.
Well, knowing that Superintendent Thurman is so behind AI right now, I predict possibly in January that we may see a new policy, being shared with the different districts.
So Ms. Timothy, can you check with, CSBA, things in the works? I'm sure there is a committee.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and for us to locally form a AI steering committee as well. They have something to operationalize the policy, and then for us to look as AI continues to evolve, and with the special needs of our district, with pre-K to 8th, right, elementary school district. So it would definitely differ from the K-12 districts.
I think one of the things that we've seen from our tech summit is that, we saw a lot of teachers that were able to experience for the first time. I know I had a conversation with our LTA president the other day, now that we see what AI can do, now there's a lot more questions, right? Like, how might I do this? How might I do that? So that theory or those questions now that are resulting will allow us now to sort of talk about how does that influence our policy and our, our purchasing, moving forward in terms of software, in terms of program. So it's gonna open up a lot more, I guess, I think if anything, it's gonna create more questions for us, so.
I mean, even the vendor, like, whoever we contract, vendors, data, usage for our student data, make sure, I mean, it's personal information, so we really need to protect our kids in that regard. So there's a lot of little intricacies, that we really need to look into, especially going forward with, the population we serve. I mean, from releasing certain, I guess certificates or como dice Arlita.
And when Raul and Mr. Knuckles, when they were writing the policy, they did address in there, not to put PII, which is personal identifiable information, and to have the AI compliant with things like FERPA and like some of the child privacy laws.
Yeah, and then cyberbullying and all that stuff.
Yeah, that
comes
was
along,
addressed in the policy.
Or like, just operationalizing it. And creating a committee, of course.
Number 2, adoption of the following administrative regulations or bylaws for policies and exhibits. It's A through X. I need a motion.
Move. Second.
Okay, so Ms. Cordero moves, and Ms. Cruz second. Okay.
Have a discussion
Okay.
on, board policy 1113, district and school websites.
Which letter, Marisol?
Okay. Aye.
I, okay. Letter I. Go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
So I see that we're, changing the policy from option 1, from option 2 to option 1, so we're, discarding option 2. That states, photos with names are not shared unless parents opt in. So it's going to, be more, I guess, district friendly. So in other words, parents will be able to, so if we see, we'll be able to publish, our students' images with their names unless the parent opts out. Is that correct?
Correct, but that's not new, that has been.
Well, it looks like it's something that's being,
Every year it'll show you, when the GABIT gives the new, the update, it tells you select option A or option B.
and we're going with option 1.
Correct, and
By the looks of this.
but that's the same thing that we've done for the last several years. So it may seem like, oh, we're going with this option this year, but it's the same one we've done for the last several years. So it's not changing the process that we follow, it's the same one.
So if parents want to, so this is giving the district the ability to, celebrate our students, a lot of good
Pictures
stuff,
of them with their
pictures,
certificates.
todo eso, graduation ceremonies, whatnot. My only concern is attaching a name to the image of a child.
It has never had an angel.
It says it right here.
No, that's not what it
Read it.
says.
It says, déjate lo leo.
Nobody, so you don't need to read. I mean, but I think.
Students' photographs together with the student's name may be published.
Maybe.
But it's
Yes.
not. I think, why don't we go back to practice? Go back to the websites and all the practices and look at our practices. We have been very diligent of not putting kids' names,
The
you know?
The only
And I know that
exceptions,
for a fact.
yeah, the only exceptions that you'll see, like when we've had like our spelling bee winners,
Yes.
of course, we highlight those names, but obviously, most of the time, their parents are right there next to them. So I mean, it's those exceptions, but for the most part, when you see our principals highlighting students out in the playgrounds, like I said, they're like this. So
Yeah,
our
yeah.
students in classrooms like this.
That's,
Yeah.
I just, my concern was that we gotta be careful, I mean, this is public information.
No, the
It's
debate,
not
like I said, it'll be for like special programs, special
Special awards.
And parents will be notified if they want to choose, so opt out, make sure that they have that choice.
Yeah, and we do have some, I know, cause especially like in the preschool level, many times when I've gone to, like, Miss Nelly will tell me like, not this one, like, or, don't go over here. So like I said, so our teachers, our directors, they know
So
which
we're being very
programs.
cautious and protecting our children, especially
Yes.
son chiquitos, If somebody, I just could just imagine, I don't know if you guys see, Sound of Freedom and todo eso, so.
Yeah, so at the school sites, I know that as principals, when the student enrolls in the school, there's a form that every single parent has to sign, and it's basically, if you don't want even your image of your child, you can opt out, and
I
then,
remember those.
yeah, so
Yeah.
every year. That's,
Yeah, I
every
remember
year,
that.
yeah.
It's just the whole name part was like, that kind of threw me off.
And really, the only time that I can think of us using a name associated with a picture is if the child, like a perfect example, like the spelling bee winners, the SWAN winners that we do here at the district office, and we highlight the names of the winners, and they're here in the audience with their families. Like I can't think of any other time unless it's like, some big award that a child gets. If they go to the county science,
We recognize.
we recognize that they represented our school.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
When our kids are sharp, like our kids have done awards, we do groups, we don't name them or nothing.
Well, thank you for clarifying. I want to make sure to take that out, please, even in the World Wide Web.
So, roll call, I vote yes, Ms. Gonzalez.
Sí.
Ms. Cordero,
Yes.
Mr. Vargas,
Yes.
Ms. Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, so discussion on proposed dates, 2025 special board meetings.
Okay, so before our board of trustees gets a little scared, I'm not asking for 9 special board sessions, but I am requesting if we can go ahead and select one date in November so that we can have our special board meeting to discuss the school consolidation. One date in December to complete the superintendent's annual evaluation, and then one date in January so that we can present the fiscal stabilization plan.
So let's take one at a time. So for November, for me, Wednesday and Thursday don't work, so it has to be Friday.
Yeah, I concur with, Angela, yo también, Fridays are usually better for me.
So that's 2 of us. How about for the rest?
Para mí está bien todos los días.
Okay. Then Ms. Cordero, the 7th.
All 3 are hard, so we'll do Friday.
Okay. And then Mr. Vargas? Okay. We take the next group, Tuesday. Now, I'm sorry, the 12th is not gonna happen. That is a religious holiday and I am not gonna come on the 12th. So I'm sorry, I'm there, my heart is Mexican and I'm 100%. So Thursday, the 11th, I'll make it work, but that's, How does the rest of the board feel?
Está bien.
Okay, so it's 2 of us. Thursday, the 11th. So the 11th doesn't work. So then Tuesday, the 9th. So when is our board meeting? So the 9th, isn't that our board meeting?
No, it's later that year.
It's like the 17th.
It's the following. Because
Puede ser el sábado también, el día.
Saturday
Se
works for
tiene
me.
que ser, pues.
Saturday works for me on the 13th. How does Saturday, the 13th?
Saturday the 13th?
Saturday the 13th. No te cases ni te embarques en todo esto. Yes.
We can Saturday the 13th.
Okay,
Saturday.
Saturday, December 13th. Okay, thank you. And then, special board meeting for fiscal stabilization. We do have a Friday option as well. Instead of
I can't do either one.
okay,
That whole week.
the whole week doesn't work. Okay. Well, I think,
You wanna look at February?
so I think a Saturday is better on this, because I know the Thursday of the February.
February 7th, because the 14th. I know Ms. Gonzalez can,
She
it's
won't
the
be here.
14th.
Yeah.
Or the 31st. ¿Por qué? Es tu cumpleaños. Es el día del amor de los enamorados.
Oh, sí. Hasta el 14 de febrero no vengo.
So we have February 21st. I can't even say that with a straight face. February 7th or February 21st?
The 7th is best for me.
It's a Saturday?
Saturday the 7th.
Yes, 7th? Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you, board.
7 de febrero.
7 de febrero.
Sí.
¿Me puedes decir las tres fechas otra
Sí,
vez?
sí, okay. So it's el viernes, Friday, November 7th for school consolidation. For the superintendent's evaluation, Saturday, December 13th. And then for the fiscal stabilization plan, Saturday, February 7th.
Two sevens.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move to item number 4. Approve charter renewal for Lennox Mathematics, Science and Technology Academy, LMSTA. No, este era solamente las fechas. So I need a motion. Moved by Ms. Cordero,
Second.
second by Ms. Cruz. Discussion?
Okay, and Mrs. Blanco, did you want to go ahead and just sort of give a synopsis in terms of the changes?
What proceeded
everything?
after last night?
Yes, so, at last month's board meeting, LMSTA came and they gave a presentation. After the presentation, there were recommendations, and after, from the petition, so we made recommendations, so we gave them what we call a red line, copy with recommendations, as well as a document that was posted on our website with recommendations. And then, they provided a revised copy. They were a pleasure to work with. All of our red lines that we suggested were met. So I really do want to say thank you to LMSTA and the staff because they were really a pleasure to work with, and they took all of our red lines and all of our recommendations and implemented into the petition. So, and along the way, we also had legal counsel checking in on the process as well. So really, overall, a very good process in the renewing of this chart, of this recommendation.
Any other questions? We're gonna move for the vote. Dr. Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez?
Sí.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Sí.
Thank you. Congratulations. We're gonna keep our community moving forward.
Yes.
Con ganas y orgullo. Ganas is my favorite word. Business office, approve regular food services purchases order listings. I need a motion. Was that Ms. Cruz?
No,
Ms.
no,
Rosado?
no, second.
Okay, Ms. Cruz, thank you. Discussion? Okay. No discussion, Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez?
Sí.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Okay, human resource report, approved research report, I need a motion.
Move.
Moved by Ms. Cruz.
Second.
Or was it Cordero?
Cordero. First was Cruz.
Cordero. That is Ms. Cruz. I'm like, let me hear correctly. Okay, any questions from the HR report? None? Okay. Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez?
Sí.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Thank you. Instructional services?
If I can have at this time, we have both candidates here tonight.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay, so first up, I'd like to bring up to the podium, Ms. Martin. So Mrs. Martin has proudly served the Lennox community for over 20 years and brings extensive experience, instructional expertise, and a deep commitment to fostering inclusive, student-centered learning environments. She began her career as a classroom teacher at both Buford and Jefferson elementary schools, teaching multiple grade levels in SEI and mainstreaming as well, dual language settings. During her 19 years in the classroom, she's implemented restorative practices, piloted new curriculum, and led professional development. For the past several years, Mrs. Martin has served as a reading intervention teacher at Buford, where she's designed and implemented targeted literacy programs that has resulted in measurable growth for students in fluency and comprehension. She's collaborated with teachers and school leaders to analyze data. She holds a Master of Arts in Education and Leadership from California State University, Dominguez Hills, as well as a multiple subject teaching credential with BCLAC authorization and a supplemental math authorization. She is committed to partnering with Lennox families and staff to ensure that every student is seen, supported, and inspired to reach their highest potential. And we are very proud to have her as our new APS Moffat.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to express my gratitude to the board and the cabinet for the opportunity to serve as Moffat's new assistant principal. I'm honored and I want to thank you for the trust and the confidence that you've placed in me. I'm excited to work alongside the amazing team at Moffat and continue to support, the students and uplift our students. I'd also like to take a moment to reflect on my own personal journey, which is deeply tied to this community. I was raised here in Lennox after my mom, my single mom, moved me and my older sister and my 4 younger siblings to this area when I was in high school. While I didn't attend the elementary schools here, my 4 younger siblings did, and we were fortunate to have the support of the teachers, the staff, and the community. My mom can't be here tonight because she had surgery today, and she did well, everything went well. Mi mamá, una inmigrante, and she's listening to me. Mi mamá, una inmigrante que ha luchado para mantener su familia junta y unida, siempre nos inculcó los valores de luchar para seguir adelante. Ella es nuestra fortaleza, but she needed a village to help her. With the encouragement and guidance and support of the Lennox community, including all the teachers and the support staff and administrators, my siblings and I all graduated high school, attended college, and made our own way in the world. Two of my siblings became accountants. One of them is here tonight. Can my siblings stand up, please? My older sister, Martha, and my brother. And then can my family will stand up the rest of the day. All good to support you. Became accountants, 2 of us are educators, so my brother teaches at Whittier High, and 1 became a scientist at UCLA, and then my baby brother chose a career as a mechanic, which we value very much. Not all of us are able to be here tonight, like I said, because my mom had surgery, so some of them are with her. But I'd like to recognize them and thank them. Again, I'm so proud to serve in the community that my siblings once attended the school. They actually attended Moffat, all 4 of them. I see them in the faces of the students that I serve. The students who have so much potential and so many dreams, just like we all did. I hope to make a difference for them, just like the teachers and the staff in the community did for us. So thank you very much.
And next, I'd like to welcome to the podium our new Director of Special Ed, Mrs. Michelle Juniak.
All right, stand up.
So Ms. Juniak brings more than 2 decades of experience in public education with a career dedicated to advancing high-quality special education programs, fostering inclusive practices, and supporting students, family, and staff across diverse school communities. Most recently, she served as the administrator of regional programs for Torrance Unified School District, where she provided oversight of regional programs, managed budgets, facilitated IEPs, and supported compliance with alternative graduation requirements. Prior to that, she was Director of Student Services and Special Ed at Paris Elementary School District. She's also held leadership positions in Palm Springs Unified and Valverde Unified, in addition to her early career as a special ed teacher. She holds a Master of Arts in Special Education and is currently completing her PhD in Leadership Studies. She also maintains multiple credentials, including a Clear Administrative Services and an Ed Specialist credential in mild moderate support needs. She is excited to bring her experience, passion, and collaborative leadership to Lennox, working closely with staff, students, and families to strengthen supports for students with special needs. Please help me in welcoming Ms. Juzniak to our district meeting.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Board of Education, Superintendent, future colleagues, families, and everyone else here. I want to begin by sincerely thanking you for your trust in me, demonstrated by appointing me to the role of Director of Special Education. This is more than a job to me. It is a calling. I am therefore humbled by the opportunity to serve the students, families, and staff of Lennox School District in this pivotal role. It is my belief that every child deserves to be seen, supported, and given the chance to reach their fullest potential. I am deeply committed to making that a reality to the children who attend Lennox School District. I look forward to working side by side with educators, parents, and the community to ensure that students with unique abilities not only access what they need, but also experience a true sense of belonging and presence within their educational environments. Thank you again for this honor. I am grateful to be here, and I look forward to the work ahead together.
Okay, instructional services, we're gonna conduct a hearing of sufficiency instructional materials for the 25-26 school year.
Can we take pictures for them?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
May I please have Susana Martin's family come up, and then your family will be next, Mr. Mia. Susana, can you come up? It's a family affair, everybody gets credit, so if you can please come up with our board. Missed you trying to connect. Come on up. Come forward. Come forward. Come forward.
That's cool.
Señor Martínez.
Can we have some family members step over to this side to balance it out? Thank you. Señor Vargas, detrás. This is for them.
If you can see the camera, they can see you.
I can't.
1, 2, 3. I'll take a few because somebody always breaks. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now Melly.
This is the family photo. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you.
Ahora lo van a tener que compartir, Susana.
We're putting a tiger basketball team up here. Now you just got us two.
Adrian.
Everybody can stand
Is that his name? Adrian. His glasses. Your glasses.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Look at Maria.
Okay, here we
This is
go.
the official one.
1, 2, 3. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. All right, hold on, Melly.
Got it.
All right, go on!
Very nice to meet all of you.
Yes.
So fuzzy.
All right. So we're gonna do a hearing. Okay? Ahora sí, public hearing?
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open the hearing at 7:37. Sufficiency of instructional materials.
They're celebrating.
It is a good thing to celebrate. Why not?
Go get some hugs.
Let's see who's the butterfly. All right, 7:38, go ahead and close. All right, now next, adopt the resolution number 4/25/26, sufficiency instructional materials. I need a motion. Move by Ms. Cruz.
Second.
Second by Ms. Cordero. Discussion. Vote. Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez. Ms. Cordero.
Yes.
Mr. Vargas.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz.
Yes.
Okay. So consent agenda. At each meeting, the board approves a group of routine action items typically referred to as a consent agenda. Items may be pulled, acted on individually. If any member of the superintendent requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda, it will be taken in the order indicated on the agenda. So before we move items that we would like to pull individually,
Yes, please.
Ms. Cruz, can you give me the page number and then, if you don't
I
mind?
don't have a page number, but it's C4,
C4, okay, hold on.
food service items, C4.
Page 15. Page 15, thank you.
And then item,
Hold on. Okay, I'm marking it. Got it.
and then G14.
G14. G.
Page 27.
Page 27. Okay. G14, okay, that's it. All right, thank you. So let's go ahead and move the items with the exception of item G14 and item C4, okay? I need a motion. Moved by Ms. Cruz. Second. Second by Ms. Cordero. Discussion, we're gonna have it on the other items, so vote yes. Ms. Gonzalez.
Sí.
Ms. Cordero.
Yes.
Mr. Vargas.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna move to item C4, approved services agreement with C-1261:2526 with Domino's Pizza. I need a motion.
Move.
Moved by Ms. Cruz,
Second.
second by Ms. Cordero. Go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
Yeah, so I see it's $240,000 for an annual contract with Domino's Pizza. Couldn't we not find a local business? We have a lot of local pizzas around here. I mean that kind of dollar circulating within the barrio would definitely make an impact in the local economy. I mean, Domino's Pizza, it's like, it's like McDonald's. It's like it's not a local business. And knowing that there's a lot of local pizzas around here, I mean, why?
So what Domino's has created is what they call the Smart Slice, and it's a whole grain. It's a compliant compliant pizza, which is on a whole grain crust, on low fat mozzarella, low sodium cheese, low sodium toppings. They do this nationwide, and that's why they're able to do it at a cost that a smaller local business wouldn't be able to do and keep up with the means. And so I'm not aware of any local businesses that are even willing or would want to throw their hat in the ring to provide that for the schools. So.
Have we tried local pizza then yet?
Well, when we
Like actually ask
we
them to
come
be
out,
part of that program?
when it's when we request for bids, it's opened up for anybody to
And there are restrictions.
very strict restrictions.
So this is not the corner that I can go and tell them, prepare pizzas for us, I mean.
Unless it's 51% or more whole grains
Yeah,
and low sodium,
they have to
and
meet
they have to
requirements.
hold it, and they have to send it to laboratory testing to be able to provide the nutritional information that says, okay, this is what we're serving and that meets all of your guidelines.
Laboratory testing también, no?
This is a different name for it, but yes, it has to be tested for nutritional standards. Because anybody can say, oh yeah, it's whole grain, low sodium, but unless it's tested and actually verified that it is.
So is this the only chain that does this?
For pizza that I'm aware of, yes. Pickup Sticks is a company that makes school compliant foods as well. There's a couple of companies that do school compliant foods, but as far as pizza, Domino's Smart Slice is the only one that I am aware of.
So the name is School Compliant Foods. It's a program.
It's USDA's federal regulations regarding what we can serve. It's our meal pattern requirements is the technical name for it. And so the Domino's Smart Slice meets the meal pattern requirements. And if you review our contract with Domino's, it's about 30 pages showing proof of how they do it.
And is this the first time that this contract has been put up?
No. It's a rollover of a contract. And to be honest, I'm actually anticipating using less. I've already reduced it. The amount of times it's occurring on our menus just in the first month or so, but I plan on continuing to do so.
How often are they eating the Smart Slice?
It was supposed to be, I believe, bi-weekly. When I first got here, it was weekly, and there were some people that were not so happy when I said we can't serve it weekly. It's not on our menus weekly, so we're not going to serve it every week. My understanding is with COVID and the shutting down and the staff issues, a lot of the staff, went towards the convenience type items because it was, easier to be done. Now that I'm here and trying to incorporate more scratch cooking or speed scratch cooking and breaking out recipes, it's a little tough to transition back to everything being pre-packaged and pre-done. So
because we used to do our own pizzas. We used to do this was some time ago.
I'm not aware of it here. In my last district, we had a full pizza production kitchen where we made pizzas and had them delivered on site, but I had drivers for it, I had a pizza crew for it, and
just as a former principal, because our kids do like the branded food, right? So a lot of teachers, if you guys do well on this next exam, you're gonna get a treat, and it's gonna be Domino's pizza, and then they would order through, back then it was Polly, and the kids, they felt like they were having a pizza party, and so, I don't think they noticed the difference between the nutrition, all that stuff you said, but they really looked for it, and I know that Ms. Pichardo, for a while was doing Friday pizza, and her attendance, believe it or not, on Fridays, when they knew they were gonna have Domino's pizza, the kids were like, wait a minute, where's the pizza? They looked forward to this the branded Domino's pizza. And so it was used by teachers as a way, because we couldn't order pizza from the outside anymore because it had to meet nutritional guidelines. So this was a way that teachers can continue to provide incentives for kids to do well on whatever it was that they were incentivizing, and the kids loved it, and they felt like they had a pizza party, and I like a pizza party, everybody likes a pizza party, so, but it was, I know at LMS, for example, the kids looked, I don't know if she's still doing Friday.
They still do, they run.
Yes. Do they run, it's a thing, they will, if they don't get their Domino's Friday pizza, attendance will go down.
Yes. My kids tell me every time they have it.
They do, yeah. They love it.
And does $240,000 get used?
Last year we exceeded our budget. I don't
Exceeded?
recall. Yes, because our contract budget, because of catering requests and other things, not necessarily all for the students, but with my contract and the budget we had for Domino's, we did have to do a change order towards the end of the year to increase the funds a little bit, because we had a lot of caterings come in at the end of the year for office staff and whatnot.
Okay, final question. If local pizza businesses around here would try to get a contract with us, school district or any government agency that serves nutritional, USDA approved nutritional guidelines, is there a program, what's the venue that they would have to go through to be like Domino's and be able to offer these kinds of services?
Essentially, they would just reach out to you know, myself or any of the other local nutrition service directors. They get asked to speak to you know, one of our purchasing co-op, you know, that we've talked about in the past, and then we would go ahead and ask for specific information of what we're looking for to ensure that they were meeting those guidelines.
And you would be open to this?
For future, this year's already.
Yeah, no, but
you know,
it's an educational process. I mean, if we have, because I'm trying to see, I mean.
Who's locally that can do it? There's nobody.
Well, I don't know, I
No,
mean.
there's nobody locally. The only one that would do it might be Pizza Loca, but they're gone and it's
But
somebody
we haven't asked.
No,
One
but,
and
you
two,
know,
it's like, if there's
you live
there's an
here in
opportunity.
the area, there's no way, like, there's nobody that does it.
Well, if we haven't asked, I haven't asked, have you asked? He hasn't asked.
No, but I'm
It's
saying,
just
we
a
know,
program.
like, I know the community, I know every little spot in Lennox. I could tell you there's no spot that would do it, you know? Unless we go to Pizza Hut, unless we go to, you know, Papa John's, you know, but, you know, it's the same thing.
And if they actually offer this actual program, this is a very specific program. And to try to qualify other local businesses, that's what I'm trying to get to. And if there is a way, then, you know, what is that path? So we can educate the community, so if they do choose to, they actually have that option.
And I think we have the answer, they can reach out.
Yes.
Yeah, they can
Yes,
reach out,
thank
and
you.
their pricing, you know, pricing is like the number one driving force too, when awarding a contract, that's, you know, that's.
For the bid.
Most time, the pricing is the number one criteria, and I see it very challenging for a small business to be able to compete with, you know.
Mr. Diaz, I was thinking tomorrow starting my own pizza business.
I
have an apron.
The entrepreneur spirit keeps on growing in this board. Sure,
that's the spirit.
I'm gonna import it from Mexico.
Y te van a meter, Okay, so, moving on. Okay, so I need a vote. Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez? Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Okay, so now we go to the next item. Approved service agreement with, C-1257:2526 with Laura Medrano.
Move.
Moved by Ms. Cruz,
Second.
second by Ms. Cordero. Go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
So I had the pleasure of meeting Ms. Medrano, she was doing the mural right there by La Mezcla.
She is.
Yeah, and, so it's good to see her on the note that she's going to redo our mural on top of the cafeteria at LMS. And my question here is, are the students going to be involved in this process?
With this one here, I don't believe so. I want to say that she did tender some samples to Mrs. Pichardo, and based on that, she selected she selected a final product for that. But she didn't have to select.
It's on top of.
Well, not so much, not so much left, but part of the process, so, you know, this is a Lennox grown, así como uno, ¿verdad? And, you know, like aspiring artists, para que vean lo que es posible, like, you know, side by side with her to kind of help out and, you know, volunteer and whatnot. I think it will be a great experience.
Yes, and then let me tell you a little bit of the rationale. So because this is the one that's gonna go above the cafeteria, this is the one where people are driving by. It should be what I feel more generic, where someone from the street. And I told her because she has some artwork that should be replaced at the lower ground level where the kids are walking, like by the gym. I said, when you work with her to replace some of that artwork, I think that's the one where the kids should have more say. Because the one on the top, that's when the people from the street that are driving by are gonna see. Whereas the one at the eye level, that's the one where the kids should have more say, like the one with their Mr. Peterson, right? You know, their beloved music teacher. That's what the kids see every day, and they read the inspirational words. I think that's where the kids are gonna get more out of it, where they should have a say. But the one on top, That's more, to me, is the branding. So that one is not gonna have a lot more like of the
Like student
spirit,
involvement.
yeah.
And that's also what's hard with having kids on top.
Well, liability.
Liability.
Number one.
Yeah.
We are not putting no kids up on no ladder.
No, I'm not saying putting kids out there, but just colors or just like, just to be
Part of the
it,
process,
just part
but
of
I
it.
mean, but I think we're being open, right? What were you envisioning and what am I envisioning? My head is like, okay, liability, get on the roof,
So like colors or
To me, it's the branding and obviously, calling attention to the school. Because I mean, the mural that's there, I mean, no offense to whoever might have been a part of that, but it's very outdated and then it looks like it's been tagged on a million times. It just needs a new, fresh paint, because it's a beautiful school. And, and people, when they drive by, they should be able to see the beautiful mural.
To be part of it and actually do it as actually.
So if I could add, Ms. Medrano was an LMS student at one point. She is now an attorney. She helps us with our career day every year. She volunteers at career day. And art is it's her passion, right? She works by day as an attorney and then she is also an artist. So I think that it's just a really special thing for our kids to see someone from the community, someone extremely successful, but that can also has a balance in life with the arts.
And that's the point I'm trying to get to. If students could be part of that process, if not on top of the cafeteria, I'm not saying get on top of the cafeteria, but just be part of it. Be like they're actually witnessing, one of our own, doing something great for our schools. That's all.
Okay, vote. Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez? Sí. Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Same.
Thank you. So now we're going to convene to close session. Okay. Public employee discipline, dismissal, release, pupil discipline, suspension, expulsion, appeal, readmit, and C, conference with labor negotiator. Okay, so we are convening at 7:54. reconvene at 9:27 PM. So reporting out, of closed session. In closed session, the board took action to issue notice of release effective immediately to employee number JE 379485, a temporary certificated employee pursuant to Education Code Section 44954A, and direct the superintendent or designee to send out appropriate legal notices. The roll call vote was as follows: 4 yeses and 1 absence. And then reporting out, out of item A, there was no action taken. No, there was action taken, and it was just voted on. And then pupil discipline suspension, no action taken. And then conference with labor negotiator, no final action was taken, but direction was given. Okay, so future agenda items.
Yeah, I just wanted to give, our board of trustees just an update. We are still working on, Mrs. Cruz, org charts. Now that the dust is sort of settling now with all of our movements, we're getting closer to finalizing the org charts of the different sites. We're also working on looking to see when LACO is gonna finalize their healthy nutrition, education workshops for our teachers. I know it's one of the things that she had mentioned at one of our last board meetings. And we're also looking to see, for some student board member training, so that way we can sort of get the ball rolling on that and have some information for that.
Any board member reports?
I would like to just, commend the Lennox Garden Council for the continued efforts to reopening our garden and just all stakeholders involved that are really making it a dream come true. And then of course we have our weekly Friday food distributions at Lennox Park by the Senior Center. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Cruz. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move for adjournment. I need a motion. Move by Ms. Cordero, second by Ms. Gonzalez. Discussion, vote, Fajardo, yes. Ms. Gonzalez?
Sí.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz left, and Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Okay, 4. Okay, so this meeting is adjourned at 9:30 PM.
¿De qué?